Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Life pro tip: go along to get along. This story's the perfect example of why. Gotta love it when people get bit by their own mouths. Don't want to move your car for one day? Lose your convenient parking spot for a year. In my city, the residential complexes are managed by housing societies, much like the HOA system in the USA. Each society has their own committee to manage day-to-day affairs. Also, as my society has much more parking spaces than it has cars, it has no designated parking spots allotted to the residents. Anyone can park their vehicle wherever they want, but it must be a marked parking spot. People mostly park their cars in the same parking spot just because of convenience and habit. Everyone mostly respects each other's spot, and I've never seen any confrontations happening because of the parking. So, those of you who don't know, 26th January is the Republic Day of India, and all over the country the day is celebrated by flag-hoisting ceremony in the morning. The flagpole of our society, where the flag-hoisting ceremony will be held, is just in front of the main gate of society. There are 2 parking spaces just under the flagpole. All other parkings are further away from main gate, and you have to walk some distance to reach there from the main gate. The thing to note is that these 2 parkings are very, very convenient for all the flats which are facing this flagpole. However, out of respect, people have left one of the parking for one elderly person whose flat faces the flagpole, and the other spot's taken up by an annoying kind of person who never moves his car from this place, else someone will steal his spot. If this person wants to get into his car, he just has to walk a dozen feet from his front door. On the evening of January 25th, committee members asked this person to move his car for a day so that the decorations and other arrangements for the next day's flag hoisting can be made. Someone had already moved the car of an elderly person. However, the annoying guy was too frustrated about moving the car and first argued a lot with committee people, saying that there is no such rule in society rulebook that someone has to move their car for any kind of festivities, and if you want to move his car, you have to write a rule in the rule book. After a lot of arguments and interference of other people, he finally moved his car. The decorations were done in the night, and next day a small but beautiful ceremony was held. And in the evening of 26th, everyone in the society received a message that there was an emergency meeting of the committee. The rule book has been amended, and it's been decided that those 2 parking spots have to be converted into one, and anyone who wants to park in that one spot has to take prior permission from the society committee. As expected, only 2 people applied for that spot, the elderly person and the annoying guy. And today the committee unanimously decided that the elderly person is in much more need of that convenient parking spot because of his age, and that spot has been allotted to him for 1 year. Now the annoying guy has to park his car far from his front door for at least 1 year. Pretty sure that he's not going to get the spot next year too. He's not going to like this more in the coming rainy season, as we live in Mumbai, which is notorious for its horrible monsoon rains each year. All this just because he didn't want to move his car for 1 day. And our second story. Male Karen got the scare of his life. I want to tell the story of the time I saw a poor Home Depot employee being yelled at by a male Karen. Sorry if my English is not perfect, as I live in Costa Rica and Spanish is my native language. I work in IT. I've been working in IT for 15 years. So dealing with people who don't want the answer you just gave them is something I have to deal with every single day. So it's a Friday, about 7 p.m. I'm tired. I think on a Friday night we're all tired, no matter what you work on. So I went to the local Home Depot. I'm getting the stuff I need, and I heard someone yelling. Being the curious dude I am, I've always been and will be, I take a peek around the corner. I see a dude around his 40s, well-dressed. I'm pretty sure his clothes and shoes cost more than I get in a month's salary. He had a shopping cart half full of stuff, yelling at this poor kid. This dude can be over 25. Skinny, I'm betting he's 20 or 21. First thing I think, an a-hole abusing his power as a customer and yelling at an employee. So I continue walking towards them, checking on the items close to them, and then I heard what's going on. The male Karen who's yelling at this poor kid says, "I can't believe how bad you and your coworkers are doing at your job." I asked for where X item is and was told to go to Hall Y, Then I go to Hall Y and the item's not there. How stupid can you be? Then I heard the kid say, "I'm sorry, sir. I can help you look for X item, no problem." Then the mail Karen says, "I don't care about the item X anymore. I want to talk to the supervisor," and I step in. The mail Karen and the kid stay quiet as I'm really tall. Have in mind, in Costa Rica, not a lot of people are as tall as I am. The average being is 6'1" or 5'10", around that. I'm 6'4", 220 pounds, shave my head, full beard. I'm always the tallest in the room, and I don't have a really friendly face. I have to change my tone of voice because it's really deep. I don't like to use my real voice all the time because I intimidate people. I step in, face the kid, and tell him, "Don't worry, kid. Are you okay?" Turn around and face the male Karen. He looks at me completely scared. The blood came out of his face. Tried to step back, and I grabbed his shopping cart and said, "You're not going anywhere, dude." Funny, he could just let go of his shopping cart and go, but he didn't. I'm guessing he was so scared he forgot he can open his hand. So look at him for a few seconds with the meanest face I can think of, grabbed the biggest hammer out of one of the shelves and said, "Look, dude, I heard everything. The poor kid doesn't have the fault. His coworker gave the wrong instructions, and I don't think he did. I've been shopping in the same store for over a decade, and anytime I ask for where an item is, I've always been given the right directions. So one of two things are going to happen tonight, is that you're going to apologize to the kid for being an a-hole and leave. 2, you and I, well, we're going to go to the parking lot." The dude started shaking and went completely white. I turn around and tell the kid, "Go ahead, call security." So a supervisor and security came. The kid and I tell them what happened. I got the kid's back, he got mine. Our stories matched, even the hammer part. Nothing was left out of the picture. The security guy asks me if I grabbed a hammer and asked the other guy to go to the parking lot, and I said yes. If he doesn't apologize to the kid, we're going to the parking lot. The male Karen is speechless. Security escorts the male Karen out, went into his car, and left. The kid's kind of scared, but I gave him a bottle of water, changed my tone of voice, and tell him, "The dude almost craps his pants. Did you see the look in his face? Ha!" The kid started laughing, I started laughing, the supervisor started laughing, even the security guy. They all thanked me for my help. They weren't really happy about the hammer parking lot stuff, but I said I continued doing my shopping and never saw the dude again. A couple months went by, I go to the store again. The kid came to me and told me he never saw the male Karen ever again. I love being tall. And our next story. Knock down a grade 2 listed building without permission. Have the council planner's office deny all your applications for the next 99 years. I lived in a large village as a child. The village contained 4 shops, a post office, 2 pubs, a church, a primary school, and a really old grade 2 listed school. The Victorian school had been used as a library when I was a small child, but then was bought by a local business owner. Anyone who lives in the UK knows there are very strict rules regarding what you can do with a grade 2 building. Number 1 rule is you can't do anything with it without planning permission. But this businessman thought he was above the law and knocked the school down one day without consent. The council gave him a huge fine at the time, but that was only the start. I audited the planning office last year and came across the file on this plot of land. In the past 40 years, the owner has submitted 11 plans to build on the land, has been denied every time. There's a note outlining the first offense and legal documents reminding planners that no building will be permitted on the land for the next 99 years. The owner knows this, but keeps trying. There are notes on many failed legal actions taken. There's also a caveat that if the land is sold, all new applications will also be denied to the new owners. I also saw a recent request for the owner to repair the fencing and clean up the site as it was a health and safety issue, and he'll be fined if he doesn't comply. So the owner is now left with a plot of land he can't build on, and he can't sell it because nobody in our area wants land you can't build on. I also noticed that the same businessman was building houses in the same borough, and the council came out and made him move his footings of all 12 houses because they weren't quite in the position agreed by the council planners. It must have cost him thousands. The moral of the story is people may not have long memories, but local government does. And our last story. Disabled veteran fired from Amazon. I'm a 28-year-old disabled veteran. I was hurt in military where I destroyed both my feet and received a horrible head injury. My feet injury causes me to sit once in a while, and my head causes sleep issues for me now, so I'm required to work during the day. Well, I was hired by Amazon in their reliability and maintenance engineering department, mainly fixing motors, conveyor systems, and robots. I was hired for day shift. Due to my head injury, this was stated during the hiring process several times, as well as being documented and disclosed through the disclosure papers provided during the hiring process. Did all my trainings and then was pulled off to the side by a manager telling me I'm actually on nights now from 7 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. I explain my situation, to which I'm told I either do it or I'm fired. Well, I can't get fired and not get paid, so I bite my tongue and went about my schedule shift. Was doing it for a couple of months till I had a medical emergency where I ended up in the ER for a heart arrhythmia due to sleep deprivation. After I'm checked out and released, I update my manager about what happened and that I need to have my disabilities accommodated. I explained my whole situation to him on how I submitted all my proper paperwork for accommodations. Come to learn, the person I handed in all my paperwork to quit and never submitted my documents, so I told I needed to resubmit everything. So I start to get all the documents and such around and making doctor appointments to get everything up to date for them. Then I'm told on 2/16/2022 that my shift won't be from 7 p to 5:30 a anymore, but from 9 p to 7:30 a starting on our next shifts. So I was pretty upset since I already had trouble with sleep deprivation. I go to my supervisor/manager and tell them about how my accommodations are in the process of being submitted and I'll soon need to go on another shift. He tells me he'll speak to HR about it and get back to me. I didn't hear anything back from him or HR about a shift change, so to not get in trouble, I went to the 9 p to 7:30 a shift from 2/23/2022 to 2/27/2022. Without complaints or anything, I did what was required of me, even though it was putting my health at risk. I said one more thing to my manager about my accommodations for shifts. He tells me he would let me know. Then on 2/28/2022 at 10 p.m., I get a call telling me to not return to work and that I'm being let go due to safety concerns. I ask what safety concerns so I can improve on it. They tell me they can't discuss it. Update. Contacted an ADA attorney. The ADA requires almost all employers to provide reasonable accommodation for any disabled employees. I have a legal case against them for refuse accommodations. A short time later, I received the payout. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.